The stranger who asked to sleep in my barn was wanted for murder. I did not know that when he came up the road. What I knew was that my south field was drowning, the roof leaked over my bed, and the only farmhand I could afford had left 3 days before harvest because the Dawson brothers offered him another $1 a week. I also knew the stranger had shoulders built for work. That mattered more to me than it ought to have. He appeared near sundown, leading a tired bay horse by the reins. Dust covered his boots to the knee. His hat sat low over his eyes, and a canvas coat hung open over a shirt gone dark with sweat down the center of his chest. He stopped on the far side of my gate.
Mrs. Hale?
His voice was quiet, not timid, simply careful. I kept the shotgun resting across my forearms.
That depends who is asking.
He removed his hat. His hair was dark and in need of cutting. A pale line crossed one eyebrow, and another scar disappeared beneath the open collar of his shirt.
Silas Rourke.
What do you want, Mr. Rourke?
Work.
Why? The question caught him. Most men would have said money. Silas looked over the failing fence, the sagging barn roof, and the field of wheat bending beneath a sky that promised rain.
Looks like you have some.
I asked why you want it.
My horse needs grain. I need supper. I would prefer not to steal either.
That was not the whole truth. It was enough of one to interest me.
You know anything about wheat?
Yes,
Roofing?
I can learn.
Can you take orders from a woman? Something almost happened at the corner of his mouth.
If she knows what she is doing.
And if she does not?
I expect I will find a polite way to mention it.
That answer saved him from sleeping beside the road. I opened the gate. 1 week, I told him. Meals and a bed in the loft. $2 if the crop was brought in before the rain. He looked toward the wheat.
You have 3 days.
I know.
You need 4 men.
I had one.
What happened to him?
He discovered Dawson money. Silas looked at the field again. Then he rolled his sleeves above his elbows. His forearms were brown by the sun and marked with old cuts. The muscles along them shifted as he tightened the strap on his saddle.
You have me now.
The way he said it sent a small, unreasonable warmth through me. I chose to blame the evening. I had been a widow for 19 months, long enough for the casseroles to stop arriving, long enough for men to decide that the Hale farm, without Daniel Hale standing on it, was a thing waiting to be divided among them. Daniel had left me 160 acres, $46, 3 good cows, and a mortgage the bank had not promised to be patient about. The wheat was meant to save the farm. Silas Rourke began cutting it before sunrise. He worked like a man with somewhere else to be. By breakfast, his shirt clung damply between his shoulders. By noon, he had repaired the broken harness, sharpened 2 blades, and frightened my old mule into behaving better than she had in 6 years. I brought water to the field after midday. Silas stood beside the wagon, breathing hard, his hat pushed back from his face. Sweat gathered along his throat and ran beneath his collar. He took the dipper from me.
Thank you.
His fingers touched mine. The contact was brief. It sent awareness up my arm like a match struck in a closed room. Silas drank deeply. Water escaped the corner of his mouth and followed the hard edge of his jaw. I watched it reach his throat. Then I remembered I had been raised correctly and looked toward the horizon. You work too quickly.
I thought speed was the arrangement.
Not if you fall dead in my field.
I will try to die nearer the barn.
That would be considerate. He handed the dipper back. His eyes remained on my face. They were gray, not pale. The darker gray of a storm gathering over distant hills.
You always talk this much when you are worried?
I'm not worried.
No.
I am calculating whether burying you would cost more than the $2 I promised. That almost smile appeared again. It changed his entire face when it came. I looked away before he could see the effect of it. We brought the wheat in with 6 hours to spare. The rain began while we were covering the last wagon. It came hard, flattening the grass and turning the yard to mud within minutes. I climbed onto the wagon to pull the canvas across the grain. Wind caught one corner and snapped it from my hand.
Leave it.
I did not work 3 days to let it soak now. I reached for the canvas again. My boots slipped. The world tipped.
Silas caught me before I struck the ground. One arm closed around my back, the other went beneath my knees. I landed against his chest with enough force to knock the breath from us both. Rain ran over his face and into the open collar of his shirt.
Nora.
It was the first time he had used my Christian name. My hands had gone around his neck. I could feel the heat of him even through our wet clothing. His chest rose hard beneath my arm. Water gleamed along the thick curve of his shoulders and traveled down the exposed skin at his throat.
Put me down! His grip tightened, only for a moment.
The mud is deep.
I am aware.
You will fall.
I have done it before.
I have not.
That silenced me. He carried me to the porch. Each step shifted my body against his. I tried not to notice the strength in the arm beneath my knees or the way his wet shirt clung to the hard planes of his chest. I failed at both. When we reached the shelter of the roof, he set me down carefully. His hands remained at my waist. Rain hammered the porch around us. We stood close enough that I could feel his breath on my forehead. Silas looked down at me. Water hung from his lashes.
Nora.
This time my name sounded less like a warning and more like a question. I should have stepped away. Instead, I watched his mouth. His thumb moved once against my waist. Then thunder broke directly overhead. The horse screamed in the yard. Silas released me and ran into the rain. I remained beneath the porch, soaked through and shaking for reasons that had nothing to do with the cold. He stayed after the week ended. We never discussed it. I found $2 on the kitchen table the morning after the harvest. He found them returned beneath his coffee cup. The roof still leaked. The north fence leaned. A calf had developed a cough. There was always another day of labor waiting. Silas took each one without complaint. He slept in the loft above the barn and ate supper at my table. He spoke little about himself. He had been raised in Missouri. He knew cattle. He disliked boiled cabbage. He could read, though he pretended otherwise when I left the newspaper near his plate. He never entered the house after dark unless invited. He called me Mrs. Hale in daylight, and Nora only when he was frightened or angry. One afternoon I found him repairing the barn roof. The heat had driven him out of his shirt. I stopped in the shadow of the doorway before he noticed me. The sun moved over his back as he worked. His skin was darker across his shoulders and pale along an old scar near his spine. Muscles shifted beneath the surface with every pull of the hammer. He raised one arm to drive a nail. A bead of sweat slipped from beneath his hair, traveled down the side of his neck, and followed the long shape of his back. My mouth went dry. Silas glanced down. He saw me. Neither of us spoke. I held up the cup in my hand. Water. He climbed down. Slowly. By the time his boots reached the ground, I had remembered how to breathe. He stood close to take the cup. There was sawdust on his chest. One small piece clung just below his collarbone. Silas drank while watching me over the rim.
You were staring.
I was inspecting the work.
The roof is above my head.
I am aware.
Did you find anything wrong?
The question held more than roofing. My gaze dropped despite my better judgment. The sawdust still rested against his skin. I reached out. My fingers touched his chest. Silas went completely still. I brushed the sliver of wood away. His skin was hot and slightly damp beneath my fingertips. The muscles in his abdomen tightened as though I had struck him. My hand remained there 1 heartbeat longer than necessary. Then 2. Silas looked down at it.
Nora.
My name was rough now. I withdrew. You had sawdust.
I expect I had worse.
You did.
What?
An unfinished roof. Then I walked back toward the house with every inch of my skin awake. I learned about the revolver in September. 2 riders came through the north pasture near dusk. They wore Dawson colors, though neither was a Dawson. I met them near the barn. Silas was repairing a wagon wheel inside.
Afternoon, Widow Hale. Mr. Dawson sent another offer.
My answer remains no.
He may think different after winter.
I have survived one before.
Not alone.
His eyes moved toward the barn. Silas stepped into the doorway. He had buttoned his shirt to the throat. Nothing about him appeared threatening. Nothing except the stillness.
New man?
Temporary. Silas's eyes flickered toward me. Cobb dismounted. He came too close. He said the creek line belonged to Dawson. I told him the county map disagreed. He reached for my arm. I never saw Silas draw. One moment his hands were empty. The next, a revolver rested against Cobb's ribs. Silas had crossed half the yard without making a sound.
Take your hand away from her.
His voice was quiet. Cobb froze. The second rider reached toward his weapon.
I would leave that where it is.
Cobb stepped back. Silas lowered the revolver but did not holster it. The riders mounted and left with threats neither of us bothered answering. I watched them disappear beyond the cottonwoods. Then I turned to Silas. He slid the weapon into the holster beneath his coat. That was not the first time you have done that.
No,
You told me you knew cattle.
I do.
Who are you? His face closed.
The man repairing your wagon.
That answer will not do.
It is the only one I have tonight.
He started toward the barn. I caught his sleeve. Silas stopped. My hand rested around his forearm. The muscle beneath it felt hard as braided rope. He looked down at my fingers, then at me. Are they looking for you? His silence answered. He removed my hand gently.
I should finish the wheel before dark.
He went into the barn. I stood in the yard and watched the doorway long after he had disappeared through it. The following Sunday, I rode into town alone. A new notice had been nailed beside the post office. The drawing was poor. The scar across the eyebrow was not. Wanted for murder. Silas Rourke, former deputy, armed and dangerous. $200. Mrs. Pruitt came out of the mercantile behind me. Bad business, that one. What happened? Shot a deputy outside Independence. Stole records from the sheriff's office. Been moving west since. Who says he shot him? Sheriff Boone. Did anyone else see it? Since when does a widow need 2 witnesses to keep out of a man's troubles? I tore the notice from the wall. Mrs. Hale, the nail was loose. I folded the paper and put it in my bag. The entire ride back, I saw Silas's revolver against Cobb's ribs. I heard him saying he had not hurt anyone who had not first decided to hurt somebody else. I remembered his hand at my waist, his body beneath the rain. Silas was not at the farm. I followed the trail to the river. His clothes lay folded on the bank. His revolver rested on top of them. He stood waist-deep in the water, with his back to me. Sunlight moved over his bare shoulders. Wet hair curled against the nape of his neck. Water slipped down the long muscles beside his spine and disappeared beneath the surface. A dark bruise marked his left side. Below it, near his ribs, was the round scar of an old bullet wound. I should have left. Instead, I watched him lift water over his head. It ran across his chest and arms in shining paths. The sight created a pull inside me I could not have named in polite company. Silas turned. His body went still.
Nora.
I had never heard my name sound quite like that. He lowered himself farther into the river. I knocked.
On what?
The tree.
I did not hear it.
You were underwater. He looked toward the bank. His clothing lay between us. So did his weapon. I unfolded the wanted notice. The warmth vanished from his expression.
Where did you get that?
Town.
You should go back to the house.
Did you kill Deputy Amos Boone? He looked at me for a long moment.
Yes.
The answer struck harder than denial would have. Behind me, cloth shifted.
You may turn around.
His trousers were on. His shirt remained open. Water shone along his throat and gathered in the hollow beneath it. I forced myself to look at his face. Tell me. Silas picked up the revolver. He checked the cylinder before holstering it. The movement was practiced and precise.
I was a deputy under Sheriff Boone for 3 years. His brother Amos worked with us.
And
Boone was taking land. Taxes that were not owed. Debts invented after men signed. A farmer named Jacob Venn refused to leave his property. Boone shot him in his own field and called it resistance.
you saw it.
I took the office ledger. Every payment, every altered deed, every man Boone hired to frighten families off their land. Amos caught me leaving. He drew first.
Where is the ledger?
Your barn. Third floorboard in the loft.
Anger flared through me. You brought evidence of a killing onto my land.
I brought it where Boone's men would not look.
You brought them to me.
I did.
At least he did not insult me with another half-truth. How long before they find you?
Not long. A federal judge sits in Carson on the first Monday of October. If I put the ledger in his hands, Boone's warrant will not matter. That is, 3 weeks.
And then you disappear. The word hurt. I despised it for doing so. Silas reached for his shirt. His fingers paused on the first button.
I should have told you.
Yes.
I would not have blamed you for sending me away.
You gave me no opportunity.
No,
Do not mistake my anger for fear.
I never have.
That stopped me. Silas stepped closer. His shirt remained open, his skin still damp beneath it.
I know exactly what you are afraid of, Nora. That I will leave, whether you send me or not.
The truth landed between us. I folded the wanted notice once. Then again, you think highly of yourself.
No, I think highly of you.
The air left my lungs slowly. He took the notice from my fingers. Our skin brushed. The contact was almost nothing. It felt like considerably more. He tore the paper in half, then into quarters. The pieces fell into the river and drifted away.
You should send me off tonight.
Is that what you want? His jaw tightened.
No.
It was the first wholly unguarded answer he had given me. I could hear the water, the wind in the cottonwood leaves, the unsteady rhythm of my own breathing. His gaze dropped to my mouth. He stepped back before either of us did something we could not take apart again.
I will sleep in the barn until morning. You can decide then.
He walked past me. I stood beside the river, watching the wet fabric of his shirt cling to his back, and wondered when exactly the thought of an empty barn had become unbearable. I did not send him away. I told myself it was because the roof remained unfinished. Silas did not challenge the lie. For the next 2 weeks we moved carefully around one another. The space between us had changed. Every ordinary thing carried another meaning beneath it. His hand at the small of my back when we crossed the flooded pasture. My fingers brushing his when I passed him a plate. The knowledge that he would leave when the judge arrived. Some nights I lay awake listening for his footsteps in the yard. Some nights I heard them stop beneath my window. He never knocked. I never opened it. October came cold. 2 days before Silas meant to ride for Carson, Sheriff Boone arrived at my farm. He brought 3 deputies and a warrant. Silas saw them from the barn. He could have taken his horse and gone through the eastern pasture before they reached the gate. Instead, he came to the porch where I stood. Where is the ledger?
Tin box beneath the 3rd floorboard in the loft.
Go. His eyes searched mine.
No.
You have a clear path east.
And leave them here with you.
The rider stopped in the yard. Sheriff Boone was a heavy man with a red face and small eyes.
Silas Rourke. Step away from the woman.
Silas moved in front of me. I touched his back. The muscles beneath his shirt were rigid. Do not do anything foolish.
I have been trying not to since the day I met you. You murdered my brother. Your brother drew on me. You know what is in the ledger.
For the first time, Boone's expression shifted. Only slightly. It was enough. One deputy moved toward the barn. I stepped off the porch. No one enters that building without my permission. Boone signaled the deputy forward. Silas's hand moved near his revolver. 4 guns lifted. Do not! He looked at me over his shoulder. There was no fear in his face, only decision. He stepped away from his weapon. Boone's men seized him. One struck him behind the knee. Silas went down hard. I moved before good sense found me. Boone caught my arm. Silas came off the ground. Even half-bound, he drove his shoulder into one deputy and struck another. A revolver fired. The sound split the yard. Blood spread beneath Silas's shirt near his ribs. Everything inside me stopped, then restarted violently. Silas. He remained standing. Barely. His eyes found mine. Boone drew. I picked up the shotgun from beside the porch and aimed it at his chest. Every man in the yard froze.
Release him.
You will not fire.
I buried one husband on this farm. I have no intention of burying another man because you decided his life belonged to you.
Silas's face changed. Something raw moved across it before pain replaced it. Boone's finger tightened against the trigger.
A second voice came from the road. Marshal Grant rode through the gate with 2 federal officers behind him. Silas had sent the marshal a letter 3 weeks earlier, but it was Mrs. Pruitt who had confirmed the marshal's suspicions. She had written to the territorial office in September, listing every family the Dawsons had threatened and every visit Boone's men had paid to farms along the creek. I had spent 19 months resenting her nosiness. She had spent those same months keeping a record of it. By sundown, Boone wore his own handcuffs. The bullet passed through the flesh along Silas's side. The doctor called him fortunate. I did not. Fortune had nothing to do with the amount of blood on my kitchen floor. Silas sat shirtless in the chair where I had once mended a torn sleeve for Daniel. That thought came and went without the old pain attached to it. The doctor left after midnight. I remained with a basin and clean bandages. Silas watched me rinse blood from the cloth.
You called me your husband.
I did not.
Near enough.
You had been shot. Your hearing may have suffered.
1/4 of his mouth moved. The expression vanished when I pressed the cloth to the wound. His abdomen tightened. So did my grip.
You are angry.
Yes.
At Boone?
At you. For standing between me and 4 armed men.
I would do it again.
That is not comforting.
It was not meant to be.
I tied the bandage around him. To reach, I had to stand between his knees. His bare chest was inches from my face. Heat moved from his skin. I could feel every breath he took. Silas lowered his head.
Nora.
Do not.
Do not what?
Say my name in that voice.
What voice?
The one that makes me forget I am angry. His hands rested on the edges of the chair, not touching me, holding himself back. I finished the knot. My fingers lingered at his side. His skin was warm beneath them. You are leaving.
When the marshal takes Boone east.
The answer hurt exactly as much as I had feared it would. I stepped back. Silas caught my wrist, not hard. His thumb rested over my pulse.
I cannot remain here.
Because of the warrant?
The warrant is finished.
Then why?
Because I know what a lonely woman can mistake for something else.
My anger returned. Do not call me lonely, as though it makes me foolish.
You deserve time to know whether it is me you want, or simply the fact that I came when you needed someone.
You arrogant man.
Yes.
You believe you are protecting me.
I am trying.
You have done enough protecting for one night. He stood. Pain tightened his features, but he came toward me anyway.
Tell me I am wrong.
You are wrong.
Tell me you did not begin wanting me because I fixed your roof.
I began wanting you before the roof. Silas stopped. The room went very quiet. I had not meant to say it so plainly. There was no taking it back. His eyes darkened.
When?
The wheat field.
What happened in the wheat field?
You drank water. He stared at me.
That was all.
A portion went down your throat. Silas's mouth parted. I felt heat climb my neck. It was very hot that day.
It seems it was.
Do not look pleased.
I have not had much to be pleased about lately.
He stepped closer. I did not retreat. When did you begin?
The gate.
The first evening?
You held a shotgun as though you knew how to use it and offered me $2.
That inspired desire?
No. You did.
His hand touched my cheek. His palm was rough. His thumb moved slowly along the edge of my jaw.
I should still go.
Do you want to?
No.
Then stop deciding what is best for me. His forehead came down against mine. His breath warmed my lips.
You have been a widow 19 months.
I have counted.
I do not know how to stand beside a dead man.
You do not. You stand beside me. Something in his face broke open. Not grief. The exhaustion of a man who had been running long enough to forget that stopping was allowed.
I killed Amos Boone.
I know.
You cannot know every part of me.
Then show me. His breathing changed. My hand slid from the scar near his eyebrow to the warm skin at his throat. I am not asking for the parts that belong in a courtroom. I am asking for the man who fixed my roof after I had already paid him. The man who looks away when my clothes are wet. The man who stops beneath my window and never knocks. Silas went still.
You heard me.
Every night.
Why did you never open it?
Why did you never knock?
I was afraid you would.
The honesty of it stole my breath. I rose onto my toes. Silas did not kiss me. Not yet. His mouth hovered close enough that I felt the shape of every word.
If I start, Nora, I have not got much restraint left tonight.
I have had enough of your restraint. His eyes searched mine.
Tell me what you want.
You. The word came without shame. His chest rose once.
Say it again.
You, Silas. He kissed me. His hand tightened at the back of my neck. His other arm closed around my waist and brought me against him, careful of the wound and careless of nearly everything else. His mouth was warm and firm and hungry in a way that made the room tilt. I caught the front of his shirt. He made a low sound against my lips. The sound moved through me like heat through iron. The lamp burned low. Beyond the windows, frost settled over the saved fields, and when he carried me from the kitchen, the door at the top of the stairs closed softly behind us. I woke before Silas. Morning light stretched across the bed. His arm lay heavily around my waist. Without vigilance in his expression, he looked younger. Not innocent. Peaceful. I traced the scar through his eyebrow. His eyes opened. His arm tightened.
Morning.
Good morning. For several seconds, neither of us moved.
Regret?
One. His hand went still. You are bleeding on my clean sheets. He looked toward the bandage at his side. A faint red mark had appeared along the edge.
That all?
No. You still have not told me whether you mean to remain my farmhand. Relief moved through his face.
I suspect the wages are poor.
Meals and the loft.
The loft.
At first, his thumb traced the curve of my waist beneath the blanket.
And later?
I looked toward the rumpled room. That will depend on whether you finish the north fence. Silas smiled. Not the guarded half-smile I had learned to steal from him. The whole of it.
I will start after breakfast.
You were shot yesterday.
Tomorrow, then.
He drew me closer. His mouth touched my forehead, then my cheek, then the place beneath my ear, where my pulse had already begun betraying me.
I knew a great many things at the gate.
Such as?
That you needed help.
His lips brushed mine. And?
That I did too.
Sheriff Boone was convicted the following spring. The ledger returned land to 9 families and sent 3 county officials east in irons. The federal marshal offered Silas a badge. He declined. We were married in June. When the minister reached the part where a husband might kiss his bride, Silas placed one hand at my waist and the other against the side of my neck. He looked at me.
Public enough for you?
Barely. Then he kissed me until the minister cleared his throat twice and Mrs. Pruitt dropped her hand fan. The north fence was finished by autumn. The roof never leaked again, and the barn loft remained empty, except when the children climbed up there looking for the tin box where their father once hid proof that a man wearing a badge could still be a criminal. Silas never hid anything there again. Not the revolver, not the scars, not the man he had been, and not the fact that when he came up my road, needing somewhere the law would not look, what he found instead was home.